The online version of wealth is loud. It's a montage of supercars and private jets. But if you're the first to build $1 million, the real story starts in a quiet room. It begins with the realization that your starting line was defined by a specific kind of scarcity. You didn't have a financial advisor. You had a coffee tin. It sat at the back of a cabinet above the refrigerator, emergency money that never moved and never grew, kept there because your grandmother didn't trust the world or herself. That tin was your entire financial education. It taught you that money is a static resource meant to be hidden in the dark, waiting for something bad to happen. It was an education in fear, not growth. You grew up under an invisible ceiling. It was the way your father changed the subject when retirement came up, or the way your mother's jaw tightened when the car made a new noise. You learned that ambition was dangerous, and that wanting more was a betrayal of people like you. Generational poverty is more than a low bank balance. It's an inherited psychological ledger where the cost of success is measured in familial shame. Then a single thought enters your mind. The people with the lives you want didn't start with more. They just decided the ceiling was an illusion. You decide to opt out of the script you were handed. This doesn't feel like a montage. It feels like vertigo. You've stepped off a ledge without knowing if there's ground below you or just air. You start working in secret. You read at night and watch videos with headphones on because your social circle has an immune system that identifies ambition as a foreign body and attacks it. By attempting to change your altitude, you separate yourself from 90% of the people you grew up with. You've earned a shot at momentum, but you've also generated a social invoice that you haven't even begun to pay. This is the part they skip in the $1 million videos. You spend years putting in massive effort while the bank balance stays at zero. You are tired in a way sleep doesn't fix, doing things for the 100th time that still aren't working. Your friends stop inviting you out. Your family offers money they lack, and fearful people get very impatient. Your environment is full of fear. You reach a 3 a.m. moment where the doubt sounds like data. The voice says, "Nobody from where you're from has done this. That's not a coincidence." You sit with that, and then you get up anyway, because you've burned the floor on the other side. Eventually, you get your first real win. It's not $1 million. Maybe it's just a month where your side income matches your rent. You stare at the number on a Tuesday, then close your laptop and go to bed because there is no one to call who would understand the context of what it took to get there. After that win, you don't celebrate. You reinvest every cent and stay uncomfortable on purpose. You are learning to breathe thin air. As your asset column finally begins to grow, your social ledger enters a period of deep isolation. The crossing happens on a Wednesday. You run the numbers for the 100th time, and for the first time, they clear 7 figures. There's no soundtrack. There's just the disorienting quiet of crossing a threshold that no one in your bloodline has ever touched. You call your mother. You talk for 20 minutes and never mention the number. You don't know how to say it without sounding like separation, like you're standing on one side of a river and she's on the other, and the water is getting louder. Now you must learn a language your parents never spoke. You grew up with a coffee can, but now you need tax structures, LLCs, and asset protection. The $1 million isn't the end of your financial education. It's the start of a much harder one. You watch your family still struggle, knowing a check would end their worry. But you are paralyzed by the realization that doing so would change the weight of every conversation you have with them. You're surviving something you weren't supposed to survive, and you carry that guilt. The money solves your external problems, but it leaves you in a gap. You're not the same person you were, but you're still from the same place. Those two things have to learn to live inside you at the same time. There are moments where you feel the weight lift. You go to sleep without the background radiation of financial dread. You can finally say yes to things you spent years saying no to, and you can help people with actual resources, which is the only kind of help that changes lives. But being the first means you have no map. No one in your family can tell you how to hold this or how to pass it on. Unless you build a system to carry it forward, the wealth dies with you. You are the architect now. You have to build a foundation of security for your children, so they never have to see the underside of a coffee can. But a foundation isn't enough. You have to carefully balance that security with friction and hunger, so they inherit your drive without having to inherit your trauma. You're figuring this out in real time, while your entire family now looks to you as the authority for everything. Generational wealth is the act of moving the starting line. It is the work of ensuring your descendants look up and see open sky, assuming that's just what the world looks like. The result of those 1,000 sleepless nights is a family tree that stops bending under the pressure of survival the moment it reaches you. You took the invisible ceiling and made it the